provide the document as soon as possible, and whatever comes from the committee, you blame yourself for appearing.
Yeah? As soon as possible could be 1 year. Since he has it, doesn't need 48 hours.
You can bring it tomorrow. To submit to the secretariat tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yes. Tomorrow, no excuse. Yeah, because you have them.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to preview. Our headquarters is in Lokoja. So if you can give me just 2 days to go there, come back.
No. Why? No. Excuse me. In this day and age, even if it can be, soft copies can be sent you print here, or somebody should leave Lokoja and come here. If at all the documents are really there, ready, what's there? But if it is the view of my colleagues, I'm not an oppressive chairman. If it is the view of my colleagues that we give you 2 days, we give you 2 days. No. Don't thank me until days.
Tomorrow is okay. It's not a big
Chairman,
deal.
I propose 48 hours. That is 2 days.
Sir. Okay. So,
Mr. Chairman, I think we have to be fair. With due respect, 2 issues are here. Number one,
48 hours.
we are dealing with institution, not individual. You know, the Senate is an institution. Your company is an institution. I don't know you, and I don't want to know you. My point is that we are dealing with institution, and the emphasis is more on institution. We are not here to see, and we are not court. So I think if you want 48 hours, that's fair enough, Mr. Chairman. 48 hours will be fine.
you want 24 hours or 48 hours?
I want 48 hours, sir.
Okay. Granted.
Thank you, sir.
Now, Auditor General.
Which is of very urgent national and public importance. So if you permit, Mr. Chairman, may I move, as it were. Mr. Chairman, this country has bled so much over the years. Right now, there are so many major projects, the impact of which would have taken the economy of this country to the expected level. But a number of, most of those investments, some of them well-intentioned, but in almost all cases, poorly executed. And sadly, Mr. Chairman and my colleagues, abandoned. Just this morning on the floor at plenary, we listened to the very pathetic situation with respect to what is happening in the refineries, in respect of which government after government will be very quick in proposing repairs, turnaround maintenance, whether it is turning from up to bottom or bottom to up, and with a lot of huge deployment of public funds in local currency, in foreign currency, and yet nothing to show for it. At plenary, we have dealt with that. At least we have started the process, Mr. Chairman, of unraveling the perennial mystery in that sector. And it's gratifying to note that this committee, and this is the chairman, is a key member of that inquiry that at plenary we have authorized. But that's only in one sector. Mr. Chairman, my motion before this committee that is vested with powers by our standing orders and rules, and the Constitution to inquire into public expenditure. My motion is that this committee should constitute an ad hoc committee to look into the cases of abandoned projects, mega projects. People don't even talk about it. And there's some kind of collective amnesia or even collective indifference. Meanwhile, billions and billions of naira and dollars have gone down the drain in different administrations. And what I'm saying is not peculiar, is not particular to any administration or government, but generally applies to all. It's a national pattern now, and we've got to stem this tide. So my motion is that this committee should invoke the powers given to it by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as well as our standing orders, to constitute a subcommittee. A subcommittee because you need a smaller body to deal with, isolate from this whole national mess, to isolate the cases of abandoned national mega projects awarded, for which monies have been paid by succeeding government over the years. Isolate them, do an inquiry, and then the committee will look at it and make necessary reports to the plenary, because even the executive arm needs to be encouraged, needs to be supported, because that's what I mean. And we should do so even in conjunction with investigative agencies to help that subcommittee in unraveling. For example, I don't want to be particular, but all of them are important. Major roads, major railways, major... look at Ajaokuta, for example. That could have taken this country to another level. We may have a duty. This committee has a duty. As far as public funds have been expended, we have a duty. First, to determine how much, and then subsequently, to know why it has been abandoned, and most importantly, to support the executive moving forward as part of our national responsibility and mandate. Bring it to the fore to say, look, this is where we are. This is what is needed to move forward. If it's the fault of government, because it may very well be cases of abandonment, it may very well be the lack of coordination and continuity. So this inquiry in-house will bring out all these things, so that we'll be more focused. We'll try our best to solve as much as we can within the time and our tenure. Wherever we get to, the next assembly can deal with it. But I think it's early enough for us to undertake this very important responsibility. I so move for the constitution of that subcommittee.
Thank you very much.
With all due respect to my brother, distinguished Senator Dixon, I think people have been invited here, not being members of this committee, to speak to us on things that affect their agencies. In my humble opinion, we should proceed with that. That is the agenda for today. The one you are measuring is not on today's agenda. And it's a matter that we as committee members, we sit down on our own to discuss, not in the presence of those whose business is limited to the particular agencies that they are managing. It's a matter for a committee of the Senate, the Public Accounts Committee. So let's discuss that on our own, and let's proceed with, because I guess they have all invited the offices now.
Distinguished Senator Adams Oshomole,
yes,
what you said is right, and what Senator Dixon did is equally right. And that's why even in plenary, issues of urgent public importance are raised. And so he is not wrong to have brought this. because what he has brought, yes, it is not on the agenda, and that's why he came under the umbrella or the auspices of matter of public urgent importance. It has also got to do with them. We are all Nigerians. But for now, your motion is, you've moved it. In fact, my deputy chairman already said he has seconded it in silence, but I am pronouncing, yes.
Are you a mind reader?
Yes. No, but he told me. Yes. He told me. This is extremely very important. Very, very important moving forward. Let me use my senatorial district. From Kefi today, Nasarawa, Toto to Abaji. A contractor was mobilized. He collected money, sir, from public treasury, abandoned the project. It is there. Kefi, Nasarawa is ideally 25-30 minutes drive. Now you spend 1.5 hours before you get to Nasarawa. But anyway, like he said, we will not go into these details now. The motion is taken, moved, seconded, and then at our executive,
amendment.
No, don't worry.
Yeah, that's why I said we shall discuss it.
I have no problem with it at all.
Yeah.
I'm even happy that we have jurisdiction to do
Yeah, we
it.
have.
Yeah, no, we have. We have as a committee.
Just get done.
Yeah,
Look at our audience. I, Senator Onyeka Chinwebonyi, do second the motion as moved by His Excellency Senator Dixon, that will look at all those abandoned projects for the interest of the nation. I so second.
Chairman, is it in order to make an amendment?
Yeah, we can listen to it.
Yeah, we can listen to it.
Given my experience in every committee, we just managed to form quorum. It should be 1/3 of the total membership. But hardly you get that 1/3. The amendment I would like to propose is that there is no need for a subcommittee. Let the committee of the whole, when I say the whole now, the committee on public accounts, get involved in it, because at the end of the day, as we move on now, I understand by the time the budget is here, you are going to even have much more confusion.
Yeah.
So the beauty of that is that we are not leaving the thing at the, he spoke with so much passion. We all share the same pain and agony. If we want to tell stories, we will spend the next 2 days. In fact, the first 3 weeks of the Senate, everybody was bringing to collective notice what is going on in their area, abandoned jobs or job properly not done, or even not done at all. So my amendment is, let the committee, when we are done with these people, we look at our calendar and say when and how do we proceed, because it's going to be a major, even more than this chicken that was procured without due process, and then the rabbit that was procured initially that turned to a chicken. We were talking of the elephant leg. So I'm 100% with you. I just thought that we should just relieve the workers, and pro-workers. They may have thought they are going to be here for 2-3 hours, and then we keep them for the whole day.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Chairman,
Fantastic.
page 19,
That's the whole lot of work.
issue 2, engagement and payment of external solicitors without the consent of Honorable Attorney General of the Federation, 18.6 million. Establishment Circular Reference Number SGF PSCR 62511 of 16 July 2003 requires that prior consent and approval of the Honorable Attorney General of the Federation should be obtained before the engagement of external solicitors and advocates by federal government, ministry, departments, and agencies, and payment of professional fees in respect of such services. Audit observed that the sum of 18.6 million was paid to 3 legal firms between 25th January 2018 and 5th September 2018 for legal services rendered to the authority. 2. The engagement of the solicitors and the subsequent payment were made without the prior consent and approval of the Attorney General of the Federation in accordance with extant circulars. The above anomalies could be attributed to weaknesses in the internal control system at NIWA. Inexperience or unqualified solicitors, loss of government funds, then management response, no response. Recommendations, sir. The managing director is requested to justify the engagement of external solicitors without approval, remit sum of 18.6 million to the Treasury, forward evidence to the public account committees of the National Assembly. Otherwise, the committee should apply sanctions relating to irregular payments, stated in paragraph 3106 of the Financial Regulation. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So submit.
Yes, Mr. MD, let's hear you.
Thank you, distinguished chairman. On this issue number 2, the authority by virtue of section 15, subsection 2 of its enabling act, Carpen 47, Law of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, empowers it to appoint an agent or agents as it deems necessary for the efficient performance of its duty. Agents includes consultant, external solicitor, etc. The authority, based on the strength of the above, engage external solicitors to render legal services on behalf of the authority. And the attachment is the letter to the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation and the reply from the Attorney General of the Federation approving the engagement of the external solicitors.
Mr. Chairman, let me just make a fair comment here. On your recommendation at page 91, I'm a lawyer of 34 years standing, so I won't sit down here and say anything going against my profession. You said, and you said unqualified solicitors. Please, I think you should expunge that language. Anybody called to bar by Nigeria Bar Association is qualified. This is an inductible language, and I think it's quite a language of the carpenter.
No, but
on point of facts.
Yeah.
For his comment. Yeah. Last week, a fake counsel, lawyer, was charged to court, who has succeeded in defending and even getting favorable judgment on behalf of several clients.
That is in Kenya.
Excuse me.
That was in Kenya. No, just point of information. Point of information. That was in Kenya.
Excuse me.
Not Nigeria.
I am not as uninformed as you assume.
In fact,
All I'm saying is that you cannot come to the conclusion that there are no fake lawyers. In truth and in fact, there are fake lawyers. And in truth and in fact, there are incompetent lawyers. In truth and in fact, there are those I call charge and bail lawyers. And the reason why government tends to lose cases in court is that agency will go for cheap lawyers, inflate their charges, they get returned, and government loses cases. That's why, as a governor of Veto, I decided to abandon the Ministry of Justice and call my PAMSEC, my Attorney General, and said, you hire senior advocate that will approve to handle our cases. So, don't say that all lawyers are competent. In every field of life, there are competent and incompetent people.
okay. What's the order?
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. I think we should limit our argument
No, order what?
to what is relevant.
No, order number what?
Is a common order.
My
of
distinguished
proceedings. We are not here to
deputy.
joke.
Yeah, no. The distinguished deputy chairman, distinguished Senator Oshomole. With due respect to Senator Jimo Ibrahim, the word unqualified here may not necessarily mean the solicitors are not qualified professionally. They may be unqualified because they did not maybe satisfy one criteria or the other of, of engagement. Not that, though he is in a better position. So I don't think it is good enough for us to drag the issue. Having listened to the query, you have the floor, MD. But for me, the word unqualified could come from a different context, maybe in a different context, not necessarily in the context of what Senator Jimo Ibrahim, because really and truly, like he said, he cannot sit here and then read or listen or hear that a lawyer that is fully called to bar and is a member of the bench, or what do you call it?
Member of the bar.
Member of the bar, be called to be said he is unqualified. But he can as well be unqualified if the procedure of the engagement is in question. So he could be unqualified. So really and truly, there is really nothing.
No, Mr. Chairman, can we now call on the Auditor General?
No.
Who has uttered
the word unqualified?
Yeah, who has uttered this report in view of the distinction you have made, which is opposite. Can we ask him to clarify exactly what he means by that? When he says unqualified solicitor.
Now I think
General, what exactly
before he speaks, I'm just trying to further defend what I said. If you look at the issues, issue 2, okay, audit observation, the second item, the engagement of the solicitors and the subsequent payments were made without the prior consent and approval of the Attorney General of the Federation in accordance with the extant circulars. So that is enough to make them unqualified.
Mr. Chairman, I don't want to stress this issue. Let me reply, Senator Adams. Just like you are very... No, just a minute. No. Allow me to make... No, I'll make my point. No. I'll make my point.
No.
Are you afraid of my reply?
No.
Let me just put on order.
No.
The key point, Mr. Chairman...
Excuse me, I am the chairman.
Yes. But Mr. Chairman...
And I rule on that. MD, let's listen to you.
Okay.
Thank you, distinguished chairman.
Okay, thank you.
On the issue about the authority by virtue of section 15, subsection 2 of his enabling act, Cap 47 of LFM 2004, empowers it to appoint agent or agents as it deems necessary for the efficient performance of its duties. Agents includes consultants, external solicitors, etc. The authority, based on the strength of the above, engaged external solicitors to render legal services on behalf of the authority. And attached is the letter we wrote to the Office of the Attorney General and the reply from the Office of the Attorney General approving the engagement. Is there? We applied through the Office of the Attorney General for the engagement, and it was approved. Yes.
So you didn't submit the documents to them?
The report before our committee here for consideration was written in respect of 2018 fiscal year, but reported in 2019. The payments were made, according to this report, between 25th January 2018 and 5th September 2018. Mr. Chairman, sir, if you look at the attachment presented by NIWA requesting for the approval of the Attorney General, it was dated June 2020, 2 years after the incidents happened. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You have the floor.
The fact in issue here is very simple. That may not warrant asking for the letter. The law here says establishment circular, reference number LGF on 16th of July 2003. Requires the prior consent and approval of the Honorable Attorney General of the Federation. It's a common law that for any federal government establishment, for you to get an external legal services, it is mandatory that you get the consent of the Attorney General. Do you agree with me? You agree with me? You also agree with me that there is no any other law that will remove these conditions. You agree with me? That is good. Now, did you get the consent of the Attorney General? Will you say, okay, before I come to that, will you agree with me that the law you cited does not apply? That empowered you to do it to the Attorney General? There's a law you cited here. Will you agree with me now that that law does not apply?
No, it does not, in this case.
It doesn't apply. So you hereby withdraw that law you cited. You agree with me? Very good. You do get the consent of the Attorney General before the contract was awarded. Yes or no?
No.
You didn't get the consent of the Attorney General. Okay. So you got it after. You're a very honest man. Need somebody like you in this country. A very honest man. Thank you so much. I'm done.
Yeah, I said the truth. That's it.
Okay, sir.
You know, I learned to listen because of my own life experience defending workers. I like to listen to the charges, and I try to do my investigation to be sure that we have all the facts. This document is authored by the National Inland Waterways. I see here page 16. Issue number 2, engagement and payment of external solicitors without the consent of Honorable Attorney General of the Federation. 80.616 000 80.616 million. The response of management, the authority by virtue of section 1(5) subsection 2 of its enabling act, of its enabling act, cap 47 N47 LFN 2004 empowers it to appoint an agent or agents as it deems necessary for the efficient performance of its duties. Agents include, I am quoting what you wrote, consultant, external solicitors, etc. The authority, based on the strength of the above, for emphasis and underline, the authority, namely NIWA, based on the strength of the above, engaged external solicitors to render legal services on behalf of the authority. There is no any further addition here. Now, I don't need to be a lawyer. I have been defended or victimized by lawyers. So I can speak from my experience. In court, the written word is superior to verbal statements. This is what you submitted. And the Accountant General can only work on the basis of what you submitted. And I'm unable to agree with my very good friend, my brother, distinguished senator, that you are a very honest Nigerian. Honesty does not arise when you find that you are heading towards the gallows. Whatever you did do, you did out of fear, not out of conviction. What you wrote in the cover of your office is what reflects who you are. What is in print, not oral submission. So my dear brother, if Nigeria is run like this, the agencies write one thing, statutory obligations to respond to Attorney General's query, and it reflects like this, and on this basis, the Attorney General wrote what he has written. You don't proceed. You can ask for leniency. You can't describe him as your role model in public service. That would be dangerous, because his report is in black and white.
Thank you,
and the written word is superior.
Thank you, distinguished colleagues.
To verbal, viva voce submission.
Distinguished colleagues, thank you so much. Just a brief one. You know, when you are under cross-examination, thank God you said you are not a lawyer, but when you come to litigation and interrogation, you're listed. That I called him a good Nigerian. I know where I'm going. It doesn't mean he's my witness. If a lawyer calls his witness a good man, he's in quote. So don't take what I said to heart. What he said here supersedes what is written here. For this direct testimony before the whole world. What a witness says before a court supersedes his written statement. But this is direct evidence. However, that is not the issue. This man here has said that this law does not apply. I know my witnesses. You all heard him. You withdraw it that this law does not apply. And it is true, it does not apply. It doesn't apply. It doesn't apply. Because the other requirement is a mandatory constitutional requirement. Any federal agency that needs, for example, INEC, you may not have enough lawyer within INEC to prosecute their cases. They want Attorney General. Attorney General will give consent. They will hire a private lawyer to prosecute their case. That is the law. And it is also further established that this letter, this purported letter from the Attorney General came after the contract has been executed. Meaning that something has actually gone wrong. But for speaking the truth, that's why I called him a good man.
No, I think he didn't have choice.
Yeah, he's a good man. He's a good Nigerian. Thank you. Thank you.
Also understand that for any agency to appoint auditors, it must be approved by the Auditor General
of the Federation.
And there are good reasons for it.
Good.
So don't go and bring your
brother.
And I will use this word. It can be your brother if your brother is competent. No law says you should be hostile to your brother. So don't go and bring an unqualified auditor. I'm using that now to cause trouble somewhere. An unqualified auditor, I say this is my auditor, to write, I say I have looked at the books, proper book of accounts have been kept in the opinion of the so carry go. So it is not for notice that these checks and balances are put. But just to say, to be honest with you, this is a small thing. And if you had just come to us and say, I made a mistake, we erred in law, and I asked for clemency. The committee can go and reflect on what it wants to do, but don't argue against. You don't start a fight you can't win.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. You may have the floor. Mr. Chairman, I'm waiting for your permission.
Where we are is whether or not the authority had the consent and approval of the Attorney General of the Federation for you to engage an external solicitor, isn't it? The Public Procurement Act, Section 44, says whether or not, even if you sought the consent and approval of the Attorney General of the Federation and you got it, you shall advertise the job for bidding in 2 national newspapers, 2 national dailies. In at least 2 national dailies. Did you do that?
It was not done, sir.
So you are an honest man. Come on.
Distinguished Assembly. Sorry, this man is a good man.
No. I just need
Wait 1 second, sir. Even though it's on the latter mood. An honest man who is facing the door to prison is almost being open. The confessions he makes are of doubtful value. Because did you have the choice? Did you elect to be honest? No. You are now facing where your life can be determined one way or the other, not living. Your job. So, I think that you are a good man, but next time, just know that laws are not made. Particularly for us here, we are paid to make laws. And we are very angry or hostile to anyone who thought that those laws are just there to be observed. They are meant to be obeyed. And disobeying those laws may be tolerated by non-lawmakers. Not those of us who are paid. Do you know how much they pay to maintain the National Assembly? Just for the purpose of making laws and doing oversight function. So if we make law and you disobey it, we'll be angry and we will bite you. If in the course of wanting to bite you, you start confessing like a witchcraft. That doesn't make you an honest man. It just means that you have faced the end of the road.
Okay. I just have a little observation. I need to be enlightened. I found out that, look at the Secretariat suggested recommendation or whatever. I said, authority should provide evidence of approval of Attorney General for engagement of solicitor in 2018. Right as we speak, what we are considering is the year ended 31st December 2019. So, our relevance is 2018 and 2019.
The letter here is dated 2020. They applied to Attorney General in on 4th June 2020, after everything has been consummated, and they got a reply.
No, sir.
In October.
No, they said that. I'm saying that what they are faulting them for is of 2018. And I'm saying that what we are considering right now is 2019 report. So the offense was not committed in the year ending 2019, between January and December 2019. That is why I need clarification, sir.
This non-compliance reports are prepared a year or few months after the conclusion of the financial year. The financial year is 2018, and the report was done in 2019, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah. When does it start? When did that year start from? That year that is ending 2019. When did it start?
Distinguished Senator, if by virtue of time
I heard you. Oh, okay.
and availability of staff, report of 2018 appear in 2019 is because of delay in response. If the report has not been reported, it will come with 2019 report. Thank you, distinguished Senator.
I can see from the documents here, Auditor General, you should also put post-audit comments in your audit. So if you do audit in 2019, certain requirements are not met. In 2020, when the report comes up, you put a post-audit comment on what you have seen. The people from inland waterways take things for granted. And this is where I think the real issue is. So this committee is not going to allow you to take things for granted. I would have argued in your favor to the extent that when you did certain acts which the law allows you to do, because our act that authorizes you to appoint agent is an act of parliament. We made that law, and we went through vigorous exercise before that law can be made. The idea is that, okay, if you are now to make sure that you qualify what you have done, you look for Attorney General permission. If I give you a court injunction, interim order, I may not get Attorney General to package it. It may be all the account of the commission is frozen. So therefore, I may act expeditiously to make sure that things are happening. But after that, you now go to the Attorney General to rectify that you have done wrong. But like I think the chairman said, we will discuss this at our own private session and get back to you. But we are not saying, don't go with the impression that anybody is against you, whether you are honest or you are dishonest. That's your own problem. You know, you get the consequences as you move on in life. The key point is that we are dealing with institution, not individual. But I have not seen anything from Mr. Chairman in taking, if Act of Parliament allow you to take certain decisions, and you are taking the decision, and you are now rectifying them in accordance with constitutional provision. Nothing bad in that. You know, but the years gap is where the problem is. 2018 to 2020. So you are taking an action today, you waited for 2 years to get it rectified. Maybe a bit an issue. But in future, I'm sure you know what to do as an MD to make sure that these kind of things are really clean off.
Thank you, distinguished senator. It will not happen again.
Well, in my own little way, I just want to say that I could not call him a good man. He's an honest man because he was very open to tell us the truth. In law, we say there is no crime without intention. There is no crime without mens rea. So you have no intention to breach the law. But the truth is that the law has been breached. And because the enabling laws establishing an institution, and of course the grand norm of the Federation, which is the Constitution, made this area very clear that before you could engage an external legal practitioner, the written consent to the Attorney General of the Federation ought to have been sought before doing that. However, like my learned friend said, we'll look at your matter with leniency, but the point must be established. The law has been breached, and it shouldn't happen again. Thank you, my Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I think, just so that we don't play to the gallery, I know distinguished senators won't do that, but must help each other to avoid temptation. I think after hearing the facts, like a typical panel, we've all taken note of what, and we looked at the demeanor and see whether it's remorseful or not. We as a committee will meet and look at each of the cases and decide what is forgivable, what is not forgivable, what is the sanction, can we waive the sanction? That should be within us. If each of us begin to say, I think you should be forgiven, and I say you should not be forgiven, there is no end to it. Yeah, so we shouldn't. What they need to hear is the conclusion of the committee. Please.
Yeah, that further legislative dates. Adjournment? No?
Yeah, on your matter, we are through with it. Are we through with them?
They don't know. They have the start payments made without attachment of relevant documents. So it may still be the same.
If it's the same, then they should stand down. Just tell them they will hear from us. They will hear from
provide
us.
all the needed,
for issue
required
3,
documents.
For issue 3 and 4.
And 4, yeah.
So when you are coming back, just
Provide us your document.
The next date will be conveyed to you by the secretariat.
Thank you, distinguished chairman and distinguished senators.
Thank you. The prison is populated by very good men.
And that's, yes.
Who made honest mistake?
Let them take the oath. I know how to.
I,
I,
your name,
Idris Damari,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that the evidence I shall give
that the evidence I shall give
before this distinguished committee
before this distinguished committee
shall be the truth,
shall be the truth,
the whole truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing but the truth.
and nothing but the truth.
That the submission I shall make
That the submission I shall make
to this committee,
to this committee,
including all documents and annexures,
including all documents and
are
annexures,
factual,
genuine,
and reliable. So help me God.
So help me God.
This money was duly spent.
Yes, it's here.
Can we see the budget? where that honorarium was put there, 5.something million as honorarium to lecturers. We're not putting the source.
It's not to the lecturers. It's to the, some is to the accreditation team. They came to accredit our courses.
That's what I'm saying now.
Yes, it's here.
Was it in the budget
Yes.
of the polytechnic for the year?
Yes.
Can we see a copy of the budget?
So we didn't come with the.
We need it.
Okay, sir.
Because that settles the matter.
I think time can be given.
If you can come with a copy of the budget, you have dislodged the Auditor General. But if you can't come with it, you have a question to answer.
And you should be sure of what your response here today, so that it does not change tomorrow.
No, it will not change, sir.
No. I'm just trying to guide you. Yeah, I'm trying to guide you. Yeah.
He's an honest man.
If it was budgeted for, do you think, or do you believe, or do you have the conviction that the Auditor General's office will just sit down and say you have misappropriated or you have misapplied
the money?
Because the word here is the auditor said you have under risks. The second risk is misapplication of funds. So if it was truly budgeted for, as you are portraying or claiming, could the office of the Auditor General now say you misapplied the funds? You must not necessarily answer that now, since you said it was budgeted for and you are going to provide. So, yes.
I have a contribution to this.
You have a contribution? Okay. Go ahead.
Thank you.
You'll also be a good man.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, sir. For the purpose of clarity, this audit query is saying payment of honorarium to staff. Staff are not entitled to honorarium because they have been paid their salaries and allowances, all consolidated. The people entitled to honorarium are the board members, council member, or whatever the board of the institution may be. They are the ones that are entitled to the honorarium. Secondly, sir, TETFund fund is for capital development and for training, not for honorarium. Thank you. So that when you are coming, you know what to do. Thank you.
Okay.
Distinguished Chairman and distinguished Senators here present, permit me to say one or two things with regard to the TED fund money that you are saying. I think there is provision for consultancy services, whereby you can either engage a third party, or if you have competent staff that will carry out the job so that you can reduce the cost. In that regard, you can give it to those specialists, the surveying, the mechanical and the engineering aspect of the project that will be carried out. So this honorarium that you are saying, I think what was paid that time is only 2 million to the staff that carry out the SIs.
Your fully employed or engaged staff is your staff, regardless of what is regardless of the responsibility given to him or her by the organization or by the institution. Honorarium is not for staff. So just get us the budget.
Simple.
Yeah, that settles it. Yeah. So we await the budget.
I guess whether or not he paid the staff, is there any dispute about it? Did he agree or did he agree?
Sir, I didn't get you guys.
Now, the Accountant General says you paid honorarium illegally, amounting to 5 million or whatever to some of your staff. Is that a fact?
It's a fact. We didn't deny this, sir.
Why did you do so?
Okay.
But that doesn't wait for you to go to Bauchi. Now, okay, let me hear you answer.
Distinguished, that question will come after we see the budget.
No.
No,
budget is about...
No, whether they have right to spend that money.
Wait, not right to spend the money. That's not the issue. The issue is raising is more fundamental. Even if they don't have money, they can borrow to meet obligation. Allow me to put the question. Because the Accountant General has made a statement that I assume should be known to all of us who have at one time or the other sat on board. Part-time board members get honorarium.
Yes. But the fact is,
wait, okay. I'm not speaking to you.
Okay.
I used to think you were a very good man.
You have
been a perfect man. Allow me.
It's better than you expected.
Yeah, he's an excellent man.
It's better than you thought.
He's an excellent man, actually.
And if you are going the other way, I can call you back, sir.
I allow you. No. You can't call me by the chairman who can give the ruling, not you, sir. Not you, sir. The chairman yielded the floor to me, and I plead that you respect my privileges as your brother, your colleague, and somebody else.
Not forever.
Sir?
You are not giving the floor forever.
Carry on.
You are not giving the floor forever.
Chairman determined the extent of which I can do so. I don't need to hire a lawyer who is not practicing
I don't
to help him understand his privileges and chair on this occasion. The issue for me is, are you aware that if you did so, is it that you did so out of ignorance, or you believe that employees have a right of organization, they have a right to sitting allowance? Why did you pay?
No, they don't have the right.
So why did you pay?
But most of these response are these board members. Okay.
You know, for clarity, there are two categories of board members. There are institutional representations. Then you may have people who are even in your employment.
Yes.
Like if you have executive directors, for example, they attend a board meeting, they are not entitled to sitting allowance.
Yes. And
I think the assumption is that they are paid to sit every day anyway. But those part-time board members who are not on your payroll, when they are invited that they attend the meeting, they are paid honorarium or sitting allowance or howsoever called. So why will you, knowing the law, proceed to pay employees who are not entitled to it?
Respond quickly so that we close your chapter for today, and the Secretariat will communicate to you when next you'll be expected to submit. On that second appearance, no excuse will be accepted for any document that is needed or required and not brought to the committee or not submitted to the committee.
It's a call on you, you're out of our own schedule, and we can charge for it. If my chairman tells me to go and do something now, I have no option. I'll go and do it. But I can tell Mr. Chairman, let me finish what I'm saying. I can tell the chairman, if you want to take the floor, I can give it to you so I can continue. I can tell my Mr. Chairman that, Mr. Chairman, I am going to charge for that duty you gave me. Because it's completely out of, we are here now 6 o'clock. Chairman didn't pay us for 6 o'clock. But we cannot leave because he's still sitting down here. So we have to stay here. If we like, we could charge for it. So a lecturer in the polytechnics have a right to charge for an extra hour or extra lecture he gives, particularly when it will cost you more to engage external man to pay transportation, accommodation, and one lecturer says, I can give that lecture. And it's out of his schedule, you can pay. So explain what like Vice Chairman said, provide all with the budget. If it's a budget held
to legitimacy. So now, like he said, really and truly, everything is about and around reward, even from creation. That's why the Lord says, for those that tread on my path, my kingdom is there for them. For those that decide not to, my hell is there for them. But if you are a lecturer of Federal Polytechnic Bauchi, and then the institution gives you extra responsibility outside your scheduled responsibilities,